Hi everyone, this is Cathy again from Quilt Basket from Cutie Patterns and also Debbie Brown Quilts, continuing with our block of the month exactly. This week we're going to do this row, so you are going to be doing your watering cans and your pinwheels. If you come over to my cutting table, you will see that I have it all laid out, and we're going to do the watering can first. Through the magic of all the tools we have learned, we are again going to be cutting corner to corner. So on the handle of our watering can, we're going to sew these two pieces together. So we will have this section, and then our two little pieces, top and bottom, we are again going to be marking corner to corner. And you can either sew there like we've done before, or we can use our magic ruler. And this time, as you can see, it's even smaller, but it fits into the square perfectly. And we're going to trim our corner. Now we have used glue previously, which helps us adhere the two pieces together. And we will do that on this side. And again, just enough glue to hold our square in place. And I always like it when everything perfectly lines up. Now when we sew on that line, one thread on the seam allowance side, we will get our handle, which is here. So you're going to sew these two together. This we put our corner on. The bottom was the opposite corner. We sew the two pieces together, and our directions will tell us what size white background square we need. Next comes our watering can. Let's do the spout. Again, we use the sizes of our pattern. And this is another block that you really should mark all your pieces the correct size and label them, because some of the sizes are very close and you want to make sure you put the right ones together. And we're just going to, just enough to hold it. And then we can trim it. And again, different size block, but look how nice it fits in there. And you're going to do opposite corners. Make sure you have a new blade in your cutter. You're going to do opposite corners, and you will get this part of your spout. Again, going back to your pattern, we will tell you what size background to sew to the top and bottom. Now for this part of your spout, you're going to start with your rectangle, and once again, you're going to use your corner to corner with your background squares to nip the two ends off. And you're going to do that exactly the same way that we've done previously. And then you sew the bottom. When you sew this all together, it's going to be this part of your block. Go back to your pattern and we will tell you what size lattice to put around it. And you're going to make two. You can do them the same colors if you choose, but we chose different colors, which we took from our key. Remember I told you to mark your fabrics on the key so you know what colors to put where. To finish off the block for today, we're going to do our pinwheels. We're using 3 different color fabrics. The sizes of the blocks, the pieces that you cut are in your pattern, but I'm going to show you something a little different. When you use the corner to corner technique and cut, now you could go, and I've done it many times, to the iron, press it open, use a square, and perfectly square it off. But instead, I'm going to go back to my ruler that I have, and I'm going to lay it on my block. And as you can see, we're going to end up with a 3.5 inch square this time. I am laying the 1/4 inch seam right on the threads that I sewed the two of them together, and I am going to nib the corners off. Now, you flip it, and look what happens. My 3.5 is on the side I just trimmed. My 1/4 inch is on my threads of sewing the two blocks together. And I have a perfect square without having to square the 4 corners. So now we're going to take 4 of these and lay them out in our pinwheel design. We'll use this one. You have 4. So 2 and 2. And then 1 seam across the center. And if you press it and push all the seam allowances in the same direction, you'll get a flat center. You're then going to make 2 pinwheels from each of our 3 colors and assemble our block. Again, you go back to our patterns and we are going to tell you what size all the lattices are to make our row. So that's the end of our segment today. We now have this much of our quilt together. You can start sewing it. Any questions, please let us know at quiltbasket.com, and we'll see you again next time.
When I was a little girl helping my mom in the garden, her watering can had a flower on the side of it. So I want to stitch a flower on the front of the watering can. So I have sketched a circle in here with some chalk. It might be hard to see on camera, but I have a little circle in here. I trace circles around a lid of something that fits, and my needle's in the center of that. And now I'm going to stitch a spiral clockwise, but it's going to be a spiral of curves. So a curve and a curve. Let me get these tails out of here. And a curve. And a curve. And a curve. And a curve. While my needle is here, I'm going to come over and stitch the spout. Now I'm going to stitch the spout with switchbacks like I've done before. And the spout is done. I'm going to come over and stitch ribbon candy in both the handle and the handle on the lid. This is a gray-green thread that blends with everything. Cheat a little bit and stitch fake in the ditch right here so I don't have to make a knot between the side handle and the lid handle. And here's a view of the finished watering can. For the pinwheels, I'm going to stitch a spiral, a curve, a curl in each one of the blades of each pinwheel. And to do so, I'm going to start in the center of each pinwheel. I'm using gray-green thread so that it'll blend with all of my pinwheels. This way I won't have to change for blue for the blue, green for the green, pink for the pink. So I've stitched a swirl that reaches up into that corner and reaches down toward the next one to kind of fill it. And I'm now going to trace that swirl back, but I don't worry about if it's going to be perfect or not. And I'm back to the center. I'm now going to do another one. And another one. And another one. Back to the center. And here's a view of the finished pinwheels.